Hi, everybody. How are you? So, I want to share something about inner circle relationships that recently came up for me, and I feel like it's so important to have a gauge on our inner circle friendships, intimate relationships aside because they're more complicated, but friendships should feel easy. They should feel more like a sanctuary for your soul, a place where your heart can go to rest, and a place where you can feel like accepted in all of your shades and every version of you and all of your characteristics, because we have so much, and sometimes we go out in the world and we have these interactive experiences where we feel like we have to edit ourselves in certain situations, and um, we know certain parts of ourselves aren't accepted in other groups of people. So when we have a very safe and nurturing inner circle of friends, it's also going to reflect our inner dialogue with ourselves, and the fact that there's an energetic principle, and I know there's always exceptions, but they say that we don't have friendships who treat us worse than we treat ourselves. So that the internal self-talk that we create with ourselves is probably a little like maybe a little like less a little more critical, like self-critical, than our inner circle of friends, like the people that we would call for support if we had a bad day, or if we're confused about something and we need some clarity, we need perspective. The people that we reach out to for that are really important, energetic, like reflections. It's so important to have that outer circle of friendship support to be solid and to be an easy, nurturing place to go to. So, most of us, most people I know, grew up accepting other people or maybe their parents' reality. Okay, so let me say it like it was very easy as children to fall down and have someone say, "You're okay, just walk it off." And that kind of messaging. So it was really easy for us to grow up in a world of like just taking on other people's reality, other people's opinions, other people's versions of truth. We were given religions and a creed and a national identity, and so it was really natural to grow up just taking on other people's opinions and reality as our own. And most of us as adults we've probably worked on that. We've probably realized, like, okay, my parents really believed in this, but I definitely believe in this. And so we've developed that discernment to some degree. But it's really important to understand what specific dynamics might create internal self-doubt. So when you do this, you can really get a gauge on when you're out there and someone is trying to manipulate you, or trying to just to understand what makes you vulnerable to let someone in, and to put yourself in a situation that's compromising you. And when we have a clear gauge on that, we can really see it in real time and tune into our body, tune into our solar plexus, because that's like solar plexus energy of right in the gut. It's your gut knowing, your gut feeling. And when someone is trying to put their agenda into your field, you're going to feel it somewhere. And maybe not always, but I think in general, we feel it in our solar plexus energy center of that. For me, it feels like a punch and a pull at the same time. And so just working with that dynamic, with these things of knowing, like, of shifting an internal dialogue that's much nicer, having friends in our life that are really accepting and nurturing and sweet to us, and then understanding how we feel physically when we're open to taking on someone's reality or someone's when we want to subscribe to someone's agenda and maybe even put ourselves in a compromising situation for another person. So an example would be like someone telling you, like turning it around and telling you you're so rude for a certain boundary that you have, or people saying that you're not educated enough on the whole story to have even a tiny opinion. And I mean, there's lots of things, and I think for me, it's the caregiver. I know it's my caregiver dynamics that can make me jump into rescuer. So I have to really watch where my caregiver nurturer aspects can shift into shadow rescuing, and where, like, so it's like shadow rescuing is about jumping into someone to help someone where it's compromising to me, and it's even like there's some ego involved there. There's like, I'm such a nice person, I'm helping so many people, I'm like, this person needs help, like, so it's like there's some ego attached to the desire to rescue. So I know that, I mean, that's one that I've worked on for a long time. But to really understand, what is it, how does it hook in? How does someone's story hook into you to where you jump into it, or you allow it and you regret it later? To understand how that works for you and how it feels while they're trying to put you in this, while they're giving you the story, and how it feels and how it feels to respond to it. And it's really interesting to just play with this, to play with your physical body, your energy field, and noticing the patterns of stories that happen in your mind and happen when you're listening to someone else. It's just because really you'll get so, I mean, you can tell me, anyone watching, you can tell me if you're already working with something like this, and how in real time. Like, I just had a situation where I was with someone, I thought maybe, we've met a few times, I felt like maybe we could be better friends at some point, but there was like some kind of questioning of my spiritual practices, and I felt like patronized. There was like a lot of questions, and I could feel in real time that the questions weren't about curiosity and openness and a willingness to listen and learn. It was more about, I could feel in real time the perception, like listening to me to pull words that could be used against me. Like, I could feel in real time being misunderstood and not being listened to. And the question was about spiritual practices and wanting me to kind of identify myself. But, and I could really feel that in my solar plexus. I could really feel it in my voice. And I could feel, even as I shared my first answer, I could feel it being misunderstood. And then the follow-up question was like a confirmation of being misunderstood. And then I could feel a panic. And this is like childhood stuff too, of like, oh no, I'm being misunderstood. Like that, this person doesn't understand what I'm saying, so let me try to make it up. But I could feel that little girl kind of archetypal thing that happens in my chest of like, I'm not being understood, I'm being misunderstood. And it's not even like a friendly misunderstanding. It's like there's some, like, I felt like that villainization kind of dynamic. And I was so grateful, though, in real time. I knew that I was okay, and I just knew that I was being misunderstood. And sometimes people have a commitment to misunderstand us, to listen to us with a filtered ear, and to misrepresent us later with gossip. So I could feel the whole thing happening in my body, but I was so grateful for my inner circle of friends who I know that I can show up and be whoever and all the things that I am, even if all of my friends, even if people don't exactly practice everything I practice or believe everything I believe, there's still the one thing: respect. Respect is always present. And that's what's really important, is to have a group of people who accept you and respect you and celebrate you. So when you're experiencing these weird, these funky kind of dynamics with people, you're like, oh, this is a cool person, maybe we'll be friends, or this is a cool person, maybe we'll start dating. You can feel it in your energy field, you can feel it in your physical body, and you can really trust yourself and trust the fact that any kind of relationship that's worth investing into should be giving back to you. You should feel really good about it. It should feel, doesn't necessarily have to be easy. I like to use the word easy. I think friendships should feel easy. But all relationships are going to be work and take nurturing, and sometimes misunderstandings come up. But just having that safety net of respect, acceptance, and celebration is a great foundation for yourself to first have that internal relationship set up with yourself, and then see it reflected in a few people. It doesn't have to be many, few people on the outside of yourself, so you can always come back to what you know, and what feels so true and so safe and so sacred to you. You can come back to that truth over and over again, and when you're out there trying to create new opportunities, you can really use your physical feelings in your body, because your energy field is always telling you, it's always communicating with you, and you can really take that as information and not do the it's so easy to gaslight ourselves. Is this true? Am I being sensitive? Am I being triggered from old junk? And sometimes that might be a thing. That is a thing as you unwind trauma and stuff from your system. You might kind of like, that's something to unwind and to sort out. But it gets easier, and it feels like you get messages in real time, and you know your truth and you know your direction in real time. So this is my message today. I would love to hear if you have worked with this kind of thing, if you're on the other side of it, or if you're like kind of in the middle of it. And it's a practice. Like, it's a practice for me. It's something that I've been actively working on for over 5 years, I'd say. Like, I've been really actively working with this since I left my country in the US and moved to Israel. And I really had to get so clear with myself, with the way other people were perceiving me and trying to put their reality on me. And it was I'm really grateful for that lesson. But I'm also so grateful for the few people I know and have that are safe and always easy to express myself, so then I have that gauge when I'm out there listening and talking to other people, so I know this isn't where I want to put my energy, and I'd rather just put my energy in myself, or put my energy in this one good friend I've had for a few years. Okay, that's my message, and I will talk to you later. I'd love to hear how this sits with you.